Massive security breach at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania's Butler. A video of the incident captured the former U.S. president addressing a large crowd when multiple gunshots rang out. The bangs disrupted the rally, prompting Secret Service agents to swiftly cover Donald Trump and rush him off the stage. The shooter was killed and one attendee lost their life and two others are critically injured. Despite the chaos, Trump, with his right ear bleeding, was seen pumping his fist in the air, eliciting cheers from the crowd as he was escorted out by the Secret Service. The FBI confirmed that it was an assassination attempt against Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. The incident is currently under investigation, with the Secret Service formally notifying the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Meanwhile, President Biden has condemned the life-threatening attack on his Republican rival and predecessor.
This evening we had what we're calling an assassination attempt against our former president, Donald Trump. It's still an active crime scene. As I mentioned, we have a number of agents on scene. We also are working closely with other federal agencies, our state partners, and our local police partners as well. Again, at this time, we are not prepared to identify who the shooter is. We are close to that identification, and as soon as we are 100% confident in who that individual is, we will share it with the press.
The Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. Everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I'm able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well.
Okay, since this story continues to snowball, my colleague Shashank Mattu does continue to track it for us. Shashank, we believe that as far as his routine is concerned, as far as his schedule is concerned, Donald Trump has not made any changes. Could you help us understand where he is right now? We saw his cavalcade leave from the hospital where he was admitted. He's been on the go since then. Could you help us understand where is it that he is and what's his schedule like for the day?
Right. So, for Donald Trump, the most important thing now heading in to the next couple of days will be the Republican National Convention. It is set to be hosted in the city of Milwaukee tomorrow. It starts tomorrow, and this is the big event for Trump to consolidate his lead in the U.S. presidential elections. Remember, it's the event where the Republican Party will formally nominate Trump to be its candidate for a third time. He will also unveil his vice presidential pick. And in the wake of this assassination attempt, it will be a chance for him to show that he is strong, that he is steady, that he is, not worried about the fact that this assassination attempt has taken place. So it is a big moment for him. And you're right. What we hear is that from Republican sources is that he will not be stepping back from his campaign commitments in any way, because this is really a major political opportunity for the president as well. He has luckily survived this attempt. He has shown, he's made posts on social media saying that he's fine. He's of course attracting a lot of praise for the fact that he has been tough under fire, that he, after almost getting shot, he sort of pumped his fist, said fight, 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 and went off the stage, which really brings in a lot of political dividends, especially when you compare it to former President Joe Biden. So you talked about his schedule. Really, the big thing for Donald Trump will be to head into this Republican National Convention to show that he is unfazed, to show that he's tough and is ready to be president of the United States again for a fourth term, and to lock down that early election lead that he has 4 months before the polls. So that's what his schedule is going to be like. That's where the president's focus is going to be over the next couple of days.
Right. Let me go across to Salvatore Babones, who's also joining us right now. I believe he's an American sociologist. So if you could put into perspective for us what this attack on Donald Trump means for U.S. democracy.
It doesn't particularly mean much for U.S. democracy. The United States has always been a very violent country. Political violence is in our heritage, in the very founding of the United States. It has been a while since an assassination attempt was made on a president or presidential candidate, but those last two attempts are not so long ago. President Ronald Reagan was shot in the early 1980s by an insane person who thought it was his mission to kill the president, and Gerald Ford was shot in the 1970s. And those were both serving presidents. What this attack really represents is more a lapse in security than any particular change in American political culture. It's very unfortunate that U.S. political culture is so violent, but it has been a fact of life for 250 years now.
Right. Also, if you could put into perspective for us, sir, the fact that it's not the first time that an assassination attempt has been made on a former U.S. president. Could you put into perspective of everything that we've seen in the past as far as either attempts being made or assassinations rather be conducted? How does this then paint a picture?
Well, I already mentioned Ronald Reagan and Gerald Ford. The difference is that after the Ronald Reagan assassination attempt, the security around the president was increased dramatically. So up until the 1980s, it was possible for ordinary people to get relatively close to a president or presidential candidate without having to go through extensive security checks. Now there is an enormous security perimeter around the president or a major presidential candidate like Donald Trump. That's really what has changed and what has prevented the assassinations and serious assassination attempts for the last 40 years or so. It's the level of security, not a change in political culture. Now, there were reports from the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, that the members of the crowd had seen the potential assassin on a building opposite the podium. It does seem to be that the Secret Service did not fully secure all of the area with a clear line of sight to the podium, and there will be an investigation now into the appropriateness of the appropriateness and the resourcing of the Secret Service in protecting Donald Trump. I think what we can be certain is that looking from here on out for the rest of the campaign, there will be very heavy security indeed.
Right, so the security cover expected to increase, as you point out, sir. But as far as the perception of Donald Trump is concerned, strong images coming out. The time that he goes down to the ground with his bloodied ear, the time that he clinches his fist in the air and then says, fight, fight. How is the voter expected to perceive all of this?
Let's remember Donald Trump is a showman. He actually was a reality television star before becoming a presidential candidate. And if you listen carefully to the audio tapes from the event, you can hear Donald Trump telling the Secret Service as he's on his way out. The first thing you hear is very amusing. It's, let me get my shoes on. And you have to wonder why his shoes were off. I can only guess he was wearing loafers and they fell off in the scuffle. But the other thing is that when he stopped to put his head out of the Secret Service scrum and bump his fist in the air, he actually, you can hear him on the audio asking the Secret Service to wait, don't take me off stage yet. I have one final thing to say. And that really reflects his own knowledge that this moment was for him, frankly, political gold. He wanted to make the statement that he is indomitable, and he made that statement. He made it first with the famous mugshot photo. When most of us go in for most of us hopefully don't go in for a photo with the police, but if we did, if you've seen mugshots before, they're generally startled or blank or scared. The Trump mugshot was, tough. He was ready to, he had obviously practiced for that moment. And in the same way, he thought very, very quickly on his feet that he wanted to make a photo opportunity, and he made one.